candy! We want candy!
Some candies are definitely a sign of the times. We can even pinpoint certain eras just by the type of candy that was sold. So let's take a trip back in time before smartphones and smart TVs and check out more top 10 best candies of the 90s.
Did you just steal candies? Yes!
Blow Pops. Remember Blow Pops? They were a proverbial favorite for many kids in the 90s. Basically, they were lollipops with gum in the center.
Ooh, look at that big lollipop.
The Charms Company, which has been around for over 100 years, produces these candy treats. The company was started by Walter W. Reed Jr. of New Jersey in 1912. The original candies were not lollipops at all, but individual cellophane-wrapped hard candies that came in tropical flavors. It was during World War II that the candy shot to stardom. However, it took a while for them to morph into the Blow Pops that we know today. Blow Pops were only developed in the early 1970s, and by the 1990s had become the best-selling item ever released by the Charms Company. In the 70s, lollipops were all the rage, and were made even more popular due to the 70s detective show Kojak. The show starred Telly Savalas as the title character Kojak.
What do you think happened? He's Greek, a man of passion. You can't tie your shoes around those guys.
A cool, bald-headed detective who sucked on lollipops while solving crimes. Did you know that Blow Pops were the first bubblegum-filled lollipop in the world? Kids loved them because it was like getting two candies in one, a hard candy and a chewy gum center. Blow Pops came in different flavors like watermelon, strawberry, cherry, grape, and sour apple. Charms were also the makers of Charms Squares and Sweet and Sour Pops and Sour Balls. In the 80s, the company was sold to the Tootsie Roll Company, the largest lollipop manufacturer in the world. Runts. The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids of candy. Who doesn't remember loving Runts? These tasty candy treats come in different shapes of tiny pieces of fruit. We first saw them hit the market in the early 80s, but they hit the pinnacle of their popularity in the 90s. These candies are packed with lots of flavor, and each fruity runt consists of compressed sugar, much like a sweet tart, with a hard outer candy shell. Runts originally came in banana, cherry, strawberry, orange, and lime flavors, with each respective flavor in the shape of its corresponding fruit. In the late 90s, they added watermelon and blue raspberry, but discontinued the lime flavor. In the 2000s, various other flavors were tried and then subsequently discontinued as well. Runts pack quite a punch, both in flavor and in crunch. These candies are quite hard, and you could easily crack a tooth while crunching into one. Runts were invented by the Willy Wonka Candy Company, which was later acquired by Nestle. Yes, there truly was a Willy Wonka Candy Company. So if you're looking for a small candy packed with a kick, then Runts are for you. Though you better have a good dental plan just in case.
All that's left is banana runts. That's the worst runt.
Big League Chew. Big League Chew is a popular bubblegum brand, easily recognizable largely due to the image of a cartoon baseball player on its package. It has been around since 1980, but reached the pinnacle of success during the 90s when every kid loved to chew on this bubblegum, especially if you were into playing baseball. Big League Chew gum was the brainchild of a Portland Mavericks baseball player named Rob Nelson and bat boy Todd Field.
Dum-dum.
Yes?
You give me gum-gum.
Their idea of a shredded bubble gum that came in a pouch was pitched to the Wrigley Company as an alternative to chewing tobacco, which was popular among ball players. Since its inception, 800 million packs of this gum have been sold worldwide. So popular is this brand that it even has an official endorsement from the Baseball Hall of Fame. It is sold in its traditional pink color with cartoony packaging, originally designed by artist Bill Mayer.
Will make you smile.
Other flavors include sour apple and grape. The original slogan from the 80s, "You're in the big leagues when you're into Big League Chew," is still used to this day. This is one of the best candies from the 90s that is still going strong today. Jujyfruits. Jujyfruits is a brand of chewy, gumdrop-like candy, which became very popular in the 90s after being referenced in a Seinfeld episode.
Can I have a box of Jujyfruits?
These candies are not only a favorite with kids, but adults alike. Every hero needs a nemesis, and Jujyfruits are no different. They are in direct competition with another favorite American candy, the Jujube. Jujyfruits may have been popular in the 90s, but they were actually first produced in the 1920s by the Hyde Company. It was started by a German immigrant, Henry Hyde, in 1869, and his name was stamped on each Jujyfruits candy. The brand changed hands a few times since then and is now owned by the Ferrera Candy Company. Jujyfruits first made a name for themselves after mainly being sold in cinemas and theaters, but today they can be found almost anywhere. Interestingly enough, although Jujyfruits are fruity flavored and come in fruit and vegetable shapes, the flavor corresponds with the colors and not the shapes.
What does the color blue taste like?
So you may get a surprise when you put them in your mouth, but that's all part of the fun. The different shapes include asparagus, banana, pea pod, pineapple, raspberry, and tomato. Fruity flavors include raspberry, black licorice, lime, orange, and lemon. You can also find a sour variety. Once upon a time, the green-colored Jujyfruits were mint-flavored. In 1999, Hershey, the company that owned them at the time, changed those mint candies to lime after a survey proved the flavor was not that popular with customers. Mint or lime, Jujyfruits were all the rage in the 90s and still are. Spin Pops.
Cha-ching! Small soldier spin pops.
Don't open that.
I'm not an idiot.
Talk about gimmicky. Spin Pops were another popular lollipop that made its first appearance in the 90s. They were basically a battery-operated lollipop that spins around.
They're called harbulary batteries.
Oh, they're not!
Sounds cool, but when you think about it, it's kinda like we all got lazy in the 90s and needed this one because we couldn't do the licking ourselves. Invented by two couples from Virginia in 1993, Spin Pops sold 15 million lollipops in 1 year at $4 a pop. The Spin Pop was basically a lollipop with handles that hold batteries. The Spin Pop handle, which is reusable, holds the stick of a ball-shaped lollipop. At the flick of a switch, the candy rotates. They also invented the Laser Pop the following year, in which the handle acts like a flashlight, illuminating a 4-inch long, sword-shaped candy on the end.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
We're not sure how many of those they sold, but let's just say they were all able to retire. These novelty lollipops still have a place in today's market, with the concept even expanding to rotating Pez dispensers. It continues to be a multi-million-dollar venture and popular with kids. Having licensing deals to create Spin Pops based on Disney characters, comic book heroes, Minions, or Star Wars characters probably doesn't hurt either. Spin Pops may have started in the 90s, but they are still a fan favorite. Mega Warheads. Mega Warhead candies are another hard, sour candy of the 90s that will have you puckering up your lips. These candies are super sour fruit pellets that will make tongues tingle with their sour power. Kids would run to the store to buy tons of these packets to share with friends, just to watch their faces contort.
So my lips were doing that because the candy was so sour.
They came in flavors such as apple, black cherry, blue raspberry, and watermelon. Warheads candy was actually invented in Taiwan in 1975, before making its way to North America in 1993 by way of the Foreign Candy Company of Iowa. Today, they are produced by Impact Confections, who purchased the brand in 2004. Its fierce sour flavor is one of the most intense-tasting sour candies on the market. How sour are these candies? Just check out the face on the wrapper. Yes, your head will explode. Imagine popping a few of these into your mouth at the same time. The sourness of Warheads candy comes mostly from the powdery coating on the outside of the candy, which is made from malic acid. The exclusive special coating on Warheads candy is kept top secret. They are still very popular today, as sour candy never really goes out of style with the kids. The packaging also comes with a warning stating that eating multiple pieces within a short time period may cause a temporary irritation to sensitive tongues and mouths. Mega Warheads are still one of the best sour candies of all time, if you want to numb your mouth for days.
They call you Sour Bill for a reason.
Candy ice cream, Twist-N-Lik. Candy ice cream Twist-N-Lik was another invention from the 90s that had all the kids buzzing.
Ice cream!
It was more like a liquid or jelly that came out of a cone-shaped container. A far cry from actual ice cream, the product was very gimmicky. First, it did not resemble anything like milky white ice cream or even close to it. In fact, kids probably enjoyed it more for its packaging than anything else. Invented by Coco's Confectionery and Novelty of Maryland in 1995, Twist-N-Lik was more along the lines of a toy.
Toy. Yeah, toy!
This novelty candy came in a lot of plastic packaging that kids had a hard time unwrapping. But once they tasted the jelly-like product that oozed out of the colorful cone, they loved it. No fuss, no mess. All they had to do was remove the cap, twist the bottom, and the fruit-flavored candy would ooze out from the top. Flavors included blue raspberry, cherry, or strawberry. No vanilla, chocolate, or any other typical ice cream flavors in this product line. The company went on to make other similar candies and did very well. Tiny size gum.
I just swallowed my gum.
The most memorable of the tiny size gum was made by Chiclets. Chiclets were introduced in the 1900s by the American Chicle Company, founded by Thomas Adams. Introduced originally only in peppermint flavor, it refers to pre-Columbian chewing gum, which was found throughout Mesoamerica. This pre-Columbian chewing gum was made out of sap from various trees, but especially from the sapodilla tree. Chiclets are essentially the same as the indigenous chicle, with the innovation of a hard sugar coating offered in various flavors and colors.
Taste the flavors she's tasting.
They were a popular chewing gum for most of the century. It was not until 1962 that the tiny version was introduced in the form of little gems that came in different fruit flavors. They reached the peak of popularity in the 90s, and it was around this time that the formula changed too. The candy's interiors became color and flavor coordinated with the outer shell to give the gum an even fruitier flavor. They eventually disappeared off the shelves, but made a return briefly in 2008. As of 2016, the brand was discontinued in the US, but you can still find Chiclets in Mexico, where they are still manufactured under the name Motitas. Squeeze Pops. Another all-time favorite of the 90s that will open the memory floodgates and cause the sweet taste of nostalgia to ooze out are Squeeze Pops. The most popular brand was by Hubba Bubba. Many people recognize the name Hubba Bubba because of the bubble gum. These were not your typical hard or chewy candy, but a squeeze tube that oozed a colorful, fruity-flavored liquid gel.
I'm gel?
Originally produced by W.M. Wrigley Company, Squeeze Pops came in 3 different flavors: cherry, watermelon, and raspberry. Later, they added sour Squeeze Pops. The Hubba Bubba brand was discontinued in the U.S. in the early 1990s, but was still being sold in many countries worldwide. It did make a brief resurgence in 2014, but this Squeeze Pop brand has not been sold for years. However, you may still find some for sale online. Squeeze Pops were one of the best things invented in the 90s.
Best thing ever.
These days, they have something called ooze tubes, gooey liquid candy which looks almost identical. And they even have a green apple flavor to try. Pop Rocks.
You ever heard of anything like this?
No, I haven't.
Pop Rocks are legendary. They even play a starring role in a widely recounted urban legend. These were a favorite of many kids in the 90s, and they came about completely by accident. Pop Rocks were discovered by 2 chemists at the General Foods lab while they were trying to design an instant soft drink in the 60s. The product only actually came to market in the 80s, but General Foods later withdrew it from the marketplace in 1983, saying the product was not successful. After Kraft's purchase of General Foods, it licensed the Pop Rocks brand to the company Zeta Especial S.A., who continues to manufacture the product to this day. By the 90s, Pop Rocks were all the rage. They popped and fizzed when you put the candies in your mouth. If you were brave, you would drop the whole packet in your mouth at once, creating an exhilarating candy explosion. No wonder the kids loved them. The urban legend surrounding Pop Rocks was that drinking soda with them would cause your stomach to explode. One of these stories involved child actor John Gilchrist, Mikey from the Life cereal TV ads.
He likes it! Hey, Mikey!
Rumor had it that he died after consuming excessive amounts of Pop Rocks and Coke.
He died of Pop Rocks.
Well, don't believe everything you hear, as Mikey is still alive and well. This legend gained further traction with the dawn of the digital age when people began to post videos of themselves doing, well, anything, including mixing Pop Rocks and soda, proving that Pop Rocks are indeed safe. You may get a little gassy, but you will survive.
It sure did bring back some old memories for me.
Stick around and tap that screen for more of our great videos. Here for the first time? Then hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.